networking, referrals, strategies for success, and real-life stories from professionals who are building a business based on relationship marketing. Welcome to the Caerusnet Podcast. Here, you'll learn how to stay connected in the local business community and become that person others get to know, like, and trust, and refer to. And now, your host, Caerusnet founder, Steve Zyskowski.
Welcome to the Caerusnet Podcast. Today I've got a good friend with me and somebody that I have a business history with, and that's Kevin Suboski, Fastest Route. Kevin is really kind of a very special person in the business headspace. He's not somebody that you're going to hear your regular run-of-the-mill stuff when it comes to talking about business, because Kevin is not your regular run-of-the-mill type person. We had a long conversation before recording this podcast because Kevin and I could talk for a long, long time together, but we wanted to be sure the time we have with you today is time that bring home some value. So Kevin, thanks for carving out some time to be with me. Where are you zooming in from, by the way?
I'm in icy Texas today. We've had an ice storm that you guys had. And so, yeah, I came here to be warm and, anyway.
Yeah, here in Arizona, it was 32 degrees this morning, but it'll get up to the almost 60 degrees this week, but not like those people in Michigan dealing with the snowstorms and the ice. But they'll make it. They'll make it. So, hey, this is a kind of a special episode of the Caerusnet Podcast. Kevin has been doing groundbreaking work, working with entrepreneurs specifically. Entrepreneurs operate differently, and Kevin has identified that. And Kevin has an entire program behind helping entrepreneurs capture the most out of their business and also the most out of their life. He's been working with the Howell Chamber of Commerce for quite a while, has a wonderful relationship with people there that have welcomed him to the Business Hub, and he's a leader in that community. And it's wonderful for me to see so many businesses getting healthy in their headspace with their business, because if you're not, business can be a real drag and a real sense of a source of frustration and anxiety. So Kevin, what I wanted to do today was just, since you're doing such unusual work in Caerusnet, and Kevin's been a member of my Brighton Wednesday 10 o'clock woo-woo team for quite a number of years now. He started his journey in Caerusnet as an EOS implementer, so a little bit more on the tactical side of doing business, and also with businesses that are trying to really scale and grow and become monstrous businesses. Kevin's found that maybe there's another audience out there that isn't as well served from those sorts of types of programs. So Kevin, zombie operating system. Let's talk about this really exciting thing that you've discovered and been able to share through a series of blog posts that I've been reading and other things that have really just raised my eyebrows. Let's talk about this thing called the zombie operating system, what the heck that is, and what has you passionate now about your work today.
Yeah. I'm going to give you the long version. So sorry. So I had an IT business, and my clients were Fortune 5,000 companies. When I started my IT business, I was passionate about learning how to be a CEO. I just, that I wanted to do that. And what I found along the way is what I really wanted to figure out is how to be an entrepreneur and a leader. Those were the things. I had gotten an MBA before, and what I found out is that they don't teach you how to create value in the marketplace, and it doesn't teach you how to lead. Now, they've made some progresses in those programs over the years, but anyway, so I learned this, and I learned it from an organization in California that taught successful business from the perspective of shifting your focus to human beings being at the center of what makes someone successful. And so we studied biology, especially neurology, philosophy, and linguistics, the nature, what is human nature? How does these machines actually work? Because we generally treat people how we wish they were rather than how they really are. And those guys taught me that, and I studied with them for 5 years, and it was a pretty intense program for 5 years, and then I continued the work after. And so I applied this to my business and I had an incredible response. The kind of the standard business successes with my IT business was tremendous. But I found that I hadn't designed it in a way that worked for who I am because I didn't love IT. And all my businesses were these big companies. And I was in this place about how do you take care of people? And my clients were in the place of how do you consume people? Um, and so I didn't have language for it back then, but I certainly had a certain measure of disdain, both from just ethics, but also I'm looking at how to succeed in business, and it's cheating to steal money from people. It's cheating to steal their lives. And I was like, how do you run a business where everyone around you lives a better life? That's more artful as a business owner. And so I got away from those I ran away from it. And I said, who do I love? Entrepreneurs. And so for the last 20 years, I've been working with entrepreneurs, but I couldn't share the stuff that I'd learned, because it was very academic. Nobody wants to learn about reciprocal co-ontogenic structural coupling. Almost nobody.
Can't even say it, Kevin. Can't even say it.
I found 3 people. I haven't been saying it for years because it's like nobody wants to hear that stuff. But something happened over the pandemic, and so I was repelled by how people think you need to succeed in big business, and most people didn't like it, but they didn't know to be repelled. But through the pandemic, I think it really came to a head where people, the whole great resignation thing, was really, it's people like fed up with being consumed. And as I was telling you before the call, I was working on I have to work on my business too, just like I do with my clients. It's like, what do I do? What am I doing? What do I see? What's different about me? And I drove through a Wendy's drive-through, and the guy in the window, if you recall during the pandemic, people in food service, it was a horrible place to be. And the business owners were struggling too. And so anyway, this guy at the drive-through looked like a zombie. And I thought, that's it, the zombie operating system. This method of running a business is organized around consuming human lives for the sake of profit production without regard for the impact on the human beings around them. And so that just became the focus of like, oh, that's what I don't like about that. And as I've been talking to other people, it's one of those phrases that, I tell people like zombie operating system, and everybody goes like, oh yeah. Oh, I hate that. You know what I mean? And we all feel it, but we don't have language for it. And I think that's part of what I've uncovered and what I can explain to people what's going on, why it's there, and why you don't like it, and what's an alternative, because that sort of approach might be able to work for big companies, but leading a small business with the zombie operating system doesn't work very well. It's just not effective. And anyway,
so to bring that back just a little bit, our initial relationship was founded on you being an EOS implementer, which again, it's the VTO, it's measuring things, but the good things that came out of it for me, the real good things that came out of it for me were, who is my target market? What do they value? And then not only that, when I was building Caerusnet, I built Caerusnet using EOS, using a VTO. Before I even had my first client, I had it all set and ready to go there. And it really helped me kind of stay on track. But also, I had owned a mortgage company. I had owned other businesses that consumed me. I was being consumed by that zombie operating system of just get out there and crush it and try to make as much money as you can. I don't care if I've got to work till 10, 12 at night every single night. Just go, 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 go. And as it turned out, that was a real bad fit for me as a human being. Went through a divorce, closed my business, lost a good friend over all of these things. And it wasn't a heart-centered business. It wasn't a business built on what really matters to Steve. What would Steve's life, what would the perfect life for Steve look like within this business? Because it's the people that run the business, So for me, when I was doing Caerusnet and I built Caerusnet, and I'm grateful to be celebrating 18 years this year of doing this. This business has extracted the least from me as a human being than any business I've ever run, and has also filled me with more things than any business that I've ever run, because I cherish the relationship. I cherish what I have because I know what I have. It's for me, and it's for some other people. Like, Doug Moffat would be a great example.
Yep.
He's a lot like me. He had a chance to build a life for himself after leaving Northwestern Mutual and becoming a coach himself. And when you have a life that fills you up, and you've said it before, you feel lit. And feeling lit is a great feeling versus, going through the motions. So the reason I bring that up is because a lot of people make decisions all the time. Hey, I want to start a business. I want to do something. Or, hey, maybe my business, it's not filling my buckets like it used to. Maybe you can kind of flesh out just a little bit some of the leadership focus in the zombie operating system, where when a person is thinking about their business or thinking about their life, what are some of the things that they should be considering, according to your work?
Yeah, I think the most important thing to have is a little bit of skepticism about the things you've been taught. Because so as part of my journey, part of what I've learned is like, this funny thing about what is reality? What do we know? How do we know what we know? And um, and once we sort of know something, our body's sort of done looking. And
Mhm.
so big part of the challenge that I have is like everybody's already learned the zombie operating system. You cannot be alive today, be in business, and have not have the zombie operating system in your DNA and in your muscle as the correct way to do things.
Yep.
Um, and what people don't know is that that model for how to do business and leadership came from the Industrial Revolution. It's a very thing-based orientation, and it was cross-appropriated from the military. When we first started doing business, nobody knew how to lead a lot of people other than the military. So the model is fundamentally coercive. It's to extract things from people.
And
It's not,
compartmentalized, right?
yeah, yeah. And so, um, and sort of big business can get away with that, but most people who have started a business feel that that's wrong, right? Most people who started a business who are fundamentally entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs are different than business people. They're different domains of action. People don't know that, and it really limits their capacity to be effective. But most people that have started a business have this genetic basis. There's a great book called Driven, where they explore the genetic basis of how we are. And I work with entrepreneurs, and so it's like there's a certain profile. When you meet somebody, it's like, yeah, you're an entrepreneur. It's like you have the disease, right? It's like, and so we have an intuition, and that intuition comes from taking care. And that is not the intuition of the zombie operating system. The intuition of the zombie operating system is to extract through whatever means, through manipulation, through unethical behavior. It's to win at all costs. And big business is structured around that. Small business, it's really hard. You do not have positional power. Like a leader in a corporation has positional power. They can fire you, right? So this is the coercive power that they use. It's like, if you don't do what I said, there are going to be consequences. And so we coerce people. Entrepreneurs can't do that. They don't have any positional power with people. All they have is social power, which is earned through contribution, through care. And the reality is most of the people that go into that, they got there that way, right? So they see something going on in the marketplace. They see people, and this is your story, right? You watched people go down this path and you go like, that's not the best path. That doesn't serve you. I see a better way. This is entrepreneurship as opposed to business. I see a better way. Let me show you this way. And you seduce them into your worldview. And then you get them. So but that's a very different, we're trained to not believe that. So the whole story you had about the business that you went into, we're trained to not care about what we want. We're trained to suck it up, be a good soldier. What you want doesn't matter. It's how to be successful in business. And that's so insane to me because you brought up lit. I'll ask people, are you lit? If you're in whatever business you're in, or if you in life in general, and you're not lit, you're leaving not. And so one of the things, people listen to me and they think I'm a preacher, and it's like, no, it just so happens that being ethical drives financial behavior, because that's what drives me, right? I've been doing this for 30 years, trying to help people get more money out of their business. And guess what? The best way to do that is take great care of people. And so entrepreneurs, they bring that and they see this pain and they're bringing that, but they're trained in a different model. And so to me, the skepticism that this way that you've been trained about how to be in business isn't serving you. You've got to listen to your intuition, because most people start a business, they don't like what they're told by business coaches of what they're supposed to do in their business. And the truth is, if you organize and so it's about taking care, and you've got to take care of you too. Because if you're lit, if the stuff that you're doing fills you with passion, you're going to work harder. You're going to find it easier to do that crap that you don't want to do in your business that you need to do. You're going to be more seductive. People love passionate people. You watch people, and every once in a while I'll talk to somebody who talks about their business. And so what do you do? It's like, oh, what I do is I help people like this. It's like, if you're not lit and you're depressed about what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So in that example, that is how a lot of people respond. You can tell that they're being consumed by the zombie operating system. Yet, let's drop a couple names here of people that are very well known in Caerusnet. That will be Michael Mayernick from Mitten Junk Removal and Robert Pierce from This Guy Cleans House. So you've got a house cleaning business, right? And you've got a junk removal business. And those businesses on themselves don't mean anything about how the business is going to run. And what is that business going to do to basically earn the reputation and earn the relationships in the community? The only way to do that is through contribution, like you said, and very high ethics. And both of those people that I just mentioned, they run a business from a people-centered business and to be operating ethically. And I'll tell you right now, both of them just got done saying that they had their best, most profitable years in business, and each one of them looked like, give me 10 more. Let's go. They're ready to fight the fight. They're lit. So that's the example that I wanted to bring to the forefront, is that, an entrepreneur who is their own boss. We all have bosses. I'm my own boss, but honestly, Kevin, you're my boss too. And I cherish you as a client. And it's a different relationship from an entrepreneurial standpoint that you would have that if I was just providing a service to you and, I do it once a year or whatever. It's just in trying to make as much money off of you as I can. It's a completely different relationship. And it's great to see people, and they were also, the reason I thought of them is because they were also part of that movement that you spoke about when the pandemic happened and people were thinking about this robotic life that they were living, and maybe this was the chance. And each one of them became entrepreneurs right at the start of pandemic, and they're celebrating their fifth year in business and bucking odds. And it's just incredible to see.
Yeah, I want to point out something that's not obvious to people. So there's two ways to approach, so the business orientation, which is about efficiency and about getting the most out of whatever you're doing. The entrepreneurship piece is about taking care. It's about inventing offers in the marketplace that make a difference in people's lives, because that's how you get. And so most of how people are organized is, how do I close the business? How do I close the business? How do I close the business? And I advise people all the time. It's like, that's the wrong frame of reference. The right frame of reference is, how can I contribute? How can I contribute? How can I contribute? And the thing I want to bring up is, like, if you picture two people that are running a business with those different mindsets, and imagine them doing that for 10 years. And then do a snapshot of them at the end of 10 years and then assess their skills. And what are they going to be good at? the entrepreneur is going to get better and better and better and better at taking care, coming up with offers that contribute. That's what they're going to get better at. The business person who's focused on how to get money, how to get money, how to get money is going to get better and better and better at getting money regardless of how they do it. And so part of what people don't realize is entrepreneurship is a lifelong path to mastery. And it's really nice when you get to the point where you're really good at making offers because people treat you well. I am so grateful. When I meet people, I've been doing this a long time. And so when they hear me, it's like I get treated with a level of dignity that I did not get treated with 10 years ago,
Right.
15 years ago. People don't bother me about prices. Nobody, debates with me and tries to negotiate. People don't, they're like, and I charge a lot. I'm expensive. And they go, and so what a great place to be. My thing, what I want people to do is get the highest margins in the industry. You can double the amount you take out of the business by doubling your revenue or doubling your margin. When you double your revenue, you also double the problems. If you double the margins, you have the same, so it's a much better life. And I don't believe that there is a legal way to become an industry leader margin-wise without authentically, really taking great care of your customers and employees. You just can't do it. Imagine that, customers, this is what I learned in my business. My employees loved it because I genuinely cared about them and I genuinely tried. I would talk to them about their ambition and I would work on how do I give them what they want? Anyway, so it's the long-term thing, developing skills. Do you want to develop skills about manipulating people or caring for them? And which one's going to pay off the most in the long run?
Well, I mean, honestly, for myself, I have a pretty big competitor out there that, it's another competitor that runs a structured referral network, which is what Caerusnet is. It's a facilitated structured network, but the closest thing to me is the national brand. But I promise you, I outcare the crap out of my competition. And that's the major difference. And my
Yep.
clients sense that. They've heard stories about, Steve reaching out to somebody and trying to talk them off a ledge when things get a little crazy in the entrepreneurial world. So, it's very interesting because, as you mentioned, people sometimes can get fit into boxes. And, to call you a business coach isn't the right thing to say at all because you're really an entrepreneurial coach.
Yep.
And that's a very different game
Yep.
completely to business coaching. And again, I've seen your work blossom and take off and just extremely excited every time I get an email from you that has more that I can read because it really it's fresh and it's exciting to see your work. So
Can I interject there
oh yeah,
quickly?
go ahead.
Because I want to just point out that I think part of the reason that that's the case, Steve, and check me if I'm wrong, because you have the intuition that I speak of, right? You know this in your bones. And so, but what we don't have is we don't have a language and structure to articulate it.
Yes.
And so my theory is when you get my emails, what it does is it gives you a way to articulate and express what your intuition notices. Anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you're spot on, 100%.
Yeah.
That's, but the thing is, I'm not alone. I mean,
Yep.
there's a whole world of people out there that need to be exposed to this, which kind of brings me to my next topic. I am extremely grateful to have you as a second time ReferralTopia speaker. And the cool thing is, I think the first time we did this was maybe 2.5 years ago, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And again, you've evolved, your
Yeah.
platform has evolved, your language, everything's evolved. So I'm grateful to have you as a ReferralTopia speaker on March 5 this year. Perhaps you could just kind of share with our audience what you'll be showcasing, what they should expect from you as they get their first exposure to beyond this podcast, what that zombie operating system is.
Yeah, so what I want to share with people, again, I think the biggest thing to walk away from this is a measure of skepticism about what you know about how to do business and what the experts are telling you. And
It's like the food
and
pyramid, right?
the food pyramid.
For anybody that doesn't know, I mean, they just got done revising the food pyramid where, the very top was carbs and all sorts of things that can get you into all kinds of health troubles. And now it's been completely flipped upside down. And you're like, wait, I've been programmed to believe that I should be eating potatoes and rice and all sorts of stuff. So it's very similar to that.
Yeah.
Kevin's taken a system and turned it upside down for you to look at differently. Sorry to interrupt there. I just had to say that.
Yeah. I think, and fortunately, what I do is much less controversial.
Yes,
Because
that's
people
true.
get it. Part of what you've seen the shift in me, and what
Mhm.
I've been figuring out is how to communicate to people what I've been using in my business, what I've been using to advise people, the lenses through which I see the world. It took me a long time to figure out how I can communicate that stuff to people where they just can get it. Because it was a very academic, intellectual kind of exploration for me. And so I hope to bring that to have people see that if you're starting a business, you are in a different game than the experts are advising you on. It's like you're playing basketball and they're coming and teaching you lacrosse and giving you all sorts of lacrosse advice. And it's like somehow it isn't working for you with the basketball. What are you talking about? A hand? I don't have, what do you mean?
Yeah, the goal is
Are,
to win. The goal is to win the game, but what is really winning, right?
what is winning? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so just the whole frame of reference is off. And so what I'm going to do is like really dial in because for most people, entrepreneurship equals business. And it's an unfortunate um, way of viewing that distinction because it limits your capacity to act more effectively, to recognize that no, you are in the stage of your business where you're inventing an offer, figuring out how to communicate it to people to get it to buy it, and how to help them implement it. Figuring all that out in a way that just everything, is set and is easy to communicate. Because once you get to that point, when you've got an offer that's clear, that's coherent, that is compelling, that you can help people see it, that you can help people implement it. Once you've got to that point, then business practices become more important. But business practices, that MBA stuff that I learned, isn't what's important if you're not there yet. If you are not in the position when you speak and have people go like, holy shit, give me more. I want if you're not in that place and you're still inventing your business, the design of your business, your strategy, the product, who you're serving, all of that stuff, you're making this stuff, you're inventing it. And so what I hope to show people is like this is a very different frame of reference, it's a very different domain of action, and therefore the distinctions that you need to use to be able to make assessments and design action in that domain. I'm going back to my old language, so I have to re-listen this 3 times to get what I'm saying. But but entrepreneurship is a different domain of action, which
Mhm.
requires a different discourse. The
Yes.
discourse of business does not serve entrepreneurs. And so I'm really just sort of opening that up to get people curious about that because the information, there's a lot of people, there's ways to learn this. That's, because I had teachers, people knew this before I knew it, right? And so there are sources of ways to learn this. And so I just want to open people's eyes to that and give them a framework to think about it. So what does that mean? What is entrepreneurship? What are those? What are the parts of the domains of action? So that's what I'm open to do, Steve.
Yeah, and I think you're going to do a fantastic job. Again, ReferralTopia is on March 5. There will be a drop-down link to register for that to be a part of Kevin's live talk. There will be a Q&A at the end of that as well too. And I tell you what, I mean, I get so blessed and feel so excited regarding the people that I'm able to surround myself with in Caerusnet, you obviously being one of them, because I want my clients real healthy in their business. Healthy clients for me means healthy
Yeah.
CirrusNet. And like you said, you don't want to be teaching people lacrosse if they need to be learning hockey. The goal is still to win, but how you play the game is different, and how you define winning is different. So, people, this is going to be a groundbreaking talk. I urge you to learn more about Kevin Suboski. All of his information will be in the drop down links. He's a fantastic, approachable person, and really is looking to make a major difference with his conquering that zombie operating system and giving a people a way to really bring life into their business, life into their life. Don't let the zombies bite you and turn you into another one of them. Kevin Suboski, thanks for being on the Caerusnet podcast. Any parting words, anything else that you want to let the audience know about you can think of?
So, those of you that are entrepreneurs, it's like, I want to thank you, because we change the world and it's hard. And so, Steve, congratulations on what you've done and thank you. It matters in the world. It really
Thank you.
does. And I appreciate your work. And the same with all of you. The reason I do what I do is because I adore entrepreneurs for whatever reason, right? But and also we're crusty and willful, but there's a downside to us. But all of that. And so I'm moving into sort of reframing what I'm doing. And there's a certain part of me I'm exploring, I need to get this out to more people. And so that's why you've really appreciated the emails, because I am genuinely trying to get information out. And so if anybody wants to get on my email list and get the stuff that Steve has been very excited about, happy to add you, Kevin@Suboski.com. Suboski. Just send me an email. I'll get you on there. And I promise that the stuff I send you, the reason I send it to you is because I genuinely, in my heart of hearts, believe that this is important for you for your life. And that's what I'm doing. And obviously, if I do that well, then you're going to want more of me, right? So this is the hardcore sales strategy.
Yeah, isn't that a great strategy, right? Introduce people to concepts that they can go, really, I've never seen it or phrased that way before,
Yep.
and that's the kind of life that I want. Kevin, where do I go from here? And that's the whole purpose of ReferralTopia as well too. Like Kevin, we love entrepreneurs, and the definition of an entrepreneur could be different to many different people. But to me, it's somebody who's trying to create a business and a life for themselves and to try to bring value to the world. I mean, that's about as pure as an entrepreneur can be. It's not some people are serial entrepreneurs. Some people are fortunate enough to find one thing that they can do the rest of their life that they're really in stride with. And that's the beautiful thing about business is the variety of what we get to see, and especially in Caerusnet and at ReferralTopia. So Kevin, looking forward to a big day with you on March 5. Thank you for doing the brilliant work that you're doing, and you have my commitment to help you get your materials in front of more people.
Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on here. Appreciate your friendship and your contribution to business. You are a big part. I started this stuff because of I started the Growing a Brilliant Business program. And so,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
thanks.
I appreciate you, Kevin.